The Galactic School Invitation. The Galactic School was one of the most prestigious institutions in the universe. Located on a neutral planet, it welcomes students from every corner of the galaxy, representing dozens of species with all sorts of unique cultures and traditions. For years, the school prided itself on fostering peace and understanding among the different civilizations. When Earth joined the Galactic Council, they were cautious about allowing humans into the school. Humans were from a planet known as a Deathworld, a place considered highly dangerous and nearly uninhabitable by most other species. Earth's gravity was stronger, its atmosphere harsher, and its wildlife far more deadly than that of any other planet. Most species viewed humans as tough, unpredictable, and sometimes frightening. But to the surprise of many, the humans turned out to be eager to learn and engage with other species. They enrolled their brightest students in the Galactic School, and over time, they became known for their curiosity and adaptability. Still, there was always a lingering sense of unease around them. No one could forget that they came from the infamous Deathworld. It was during the middle of the school term when the Galactic School announced its annual Bring Your Pet to School Day. The event was a lighthearted tradition, meant to showcase the diverse fauna from the various planets in the galaxy. Students would bring their pets, and each species would introduce their unique creatures to the others. It was a way to celebrate the differences among them. Most of the Galactic students were excited. They couldn't wait to show off their pets, from floating jellyfish-like creatures to tiny animals that could change color based on their mood. The halls were filled with excitement as students talked about what they were going to bring. But when word got out that Claire, a human student, planned to participate, things changed. The students began to whisper, "What kind of pet would a human from a Deathworld bring?" Surely, it wouldn't be safe. The idea of a creature from Earth, a place full of dangerous animals, was enough to make some students nervous. "Are you sure she's allowed to bring it?" one student asked, his antennae twitching nervously. "I heard Earth animals are vicious," another whispered. "What if it attacks someone?" Despite the growing unease, Claire was determined. She had heard the whispers, felt the stares, but she didn't care. She had brought her pet, Rex, all the way from Earth, and she was going to proudly show him off. Rex was a creature known as a canine, or more specifically, a wolf dog. He was large, strong, and had piercing yellow eyes that seemed to glow in the dim light. His thick fur and powerful build made him look intimidating to anyone who didn't know him. But to Claire, he was just her loyal companion. On the morning of the event, Claire walked into the school with Rex at her side. As soon as they entered the hall, all conversation stopped. The Galactic students turned to stare, their eyes wide with shock and fear. Some even took a step back, clearly uncomfortable with the sight of such a large Earth animal. Claire smiled reassuringly. "Don't worry," she said, her voice calm. "Rex is well trained. He won't hurt anyone." But the other students weren't convinced. They had never seen anything like Rex before. His sheer size and predatory appearance were enough to make them uneasy. To them, Rex looked more like a beast than a pet. As Claire walked through the hall, she could feel the tension in the air. Students kept their distance, whispering to each other in hushed tones. Claire ignored them and found her assigned spot in the presentation area. She knelt down next to Rex and gave him a pat on the head. "You're going to do great, buddy," she whispered. The event began, and one by one, the students presented their pets. There were tiny creatures that could hover in midair, pets that could create beautiful light displays, and others that could communicate with simple gestures. The presentations were met with applause and admiration from the crowd. Finally, it was Claire's turn. She stood up, Rex sitting obediently beside her. The room fell silent as she stepped forward. All eyes were on her, and she could feel the weight of their expectations. "This is Rex," she began, her voice steady. "He's a wolf dog from Earth. On our planet, canines are known for their loyalty, intelligence, and strength. Rex has been my companion for years, and he's incredibly well trained. He may look intimidating, but I promise he's friendly." The room remained quiet. The other students too stunned to respond. They had never seen anything like Rex before. To them, he was a living example of why Earth was considered a death world, a reminder of the dangers that lurked on that distant planet. But Claire stood tall, proud of her pet. She knew that Rex was special, and she was determined to show the other students that even creatures from a death world could be loyal and loving companions. The reactions of the Galactic students. As soon as Claire finished her introduction, a low murmur spread across the crowd. The students whispered among themselves, their voices filled with uncertainty and fear. No one could take their eyes off Rex, who sat calmly by Claire's side, his sharp eyes scanning the room. A student from the aquatic planet Cinder raised one of their webbed hands. "Is it safe to have such a beast here?" they asked cautiously, their voice gurgling like flowing water. "Earth creatures are known to be dangerous." Claire smiled reassuringly. "I understand your concern, but I've had Rex for years, and he's never hurt anyone. He's actually very gentle." The crowd didn't seem convinced. The students had grown up in worlds where survival didn't mean facing predators daily, as humans did. Their pets were delicate creatures or engineered beings, bred for companionship. Rex, with his muscular frame and predatory gaze, was something else entirely. A small figure stepped forward. It was Jack, a reptilian student from the planet Sekar, known for their sharp intelligence but timid nature. He nervously adjusted his datapad before speaking. "Humans have an odd relationship with animals, don't they? You bond with creatures that by all means should pose a threat to you. Why?" Claire paused, thinking about how to explain it. "On Earth, we learn to live alongside nature's dangers. Over time, we found that some of these animals weren't enemies, but partners. We protect them, and in return, they protect us. It's a bond built on trust." Jack's yellow eyes narrowed in thought. "Interesting," he said, more to himself than to Claire. "But why this one? Why a predator?" Claire looked down at Rex and scratched behind his ears, making the large creature wag his tail slightly. "Rex may be a predator by nature, but that doesn't mean he's dangerous to those he trusts. In fact, he's one of the most loyal beings I've ever known." The students remained skeptical, but they watched closely, their curiosity slowly overtaking their fear. For a moment, the room was quiet as they studied the Earth creature, waiting to see if it would make any sudden dangerous moves. One of the teachers, a tall insectoid being named Professor Tyrek, clicked his mandibles together and approached Claire cautiously. "I must admit, I've studied many species in my time, but never one quite like your canine." His large, multifaceted eyes flickered with interest. "Would you allow me to approach?" Claire smiled. "Of course, Professor. Rex is friendly." The professor stepped closer, his long, segmented legs moving cautiously as he extended one of his delicate appendages. Rex sniffed the air, his tail wagging slightly as he sensed no threat from the teacher. Tyrek gently touched the top of Rex's head, his insectoid fingers lightly brushing against the fur. "Incredible," Tyrek murmured, clearly fascinated. "Such strength, yet so calm." The other students watched in awe as the professor petted the Earth creature without incident. Slowly, their apprehension began to fade. A few more curious students edged closer, though they remained hesitant. One of them, a small rodent-like student from the planet Eteris, crept up to Rex, her whiskers twitching with nervousness. May I pet him too?" she squeaked. Claire nodded encouragingly. "Sure, go ahead. He won't bite." The student hesitated for a moment, then extended a tiny paw towards Rex. The wolf dog sniffed her cautiously before letting out a soft, contented huff. With that, the Etarian gently petted his fur, a smile spreading across her face as she realized he was far less terrifying up close. Before long, more students followed. One by one, they gathered around Claire and Rex, each curious to see the creature from Earth for themselves. What had started as fear had slowly turned into fascination. "They're really not what I expected," a tall, crystalline student said as they touched Rex's fur. I thought all Earth creatures were wild, uncontrollable. Most of them are, Claire said with a laugh. But we humans have learned to form bonds with some of the wildest creatures you can imagine. As the students continued to interact with Rex, the atmosphere in the room shifted. What had once been filled with fear and uncertainty was now full of laughter and curiosity. The students asked Claire all sorts of questions about Earth's animals, about the humans' bond with creatures like Rex, and how they managed to tame such dangerous-looking beings. Jack, the reptilian student, remained at a distance, his eyes still narrowed in thought. This changes things, he muttered to himself. As the event went on, it became clear that Rex wasn't just a pet, he was an ambassador of sorts. Through him, the students began to see that there was more to Earth and its creatures than just danger. They began to understand that what made Earth a death world also made humans and their animals stronger, adaptable, and capable of building relationships in even the most unlikely circumstances. By the end of the day, most of the students had petted Rex or asked Claire questions. The initial fear had almost completely dissipated, replaced with awe and admiration for the strange, fascinating bond between the human and her loyal companion. The day of the event. The day had finally arrived. The Galactic School's Grand Hall was abuzz with excitement and anticipation. Students from across the galaxy had gathered, eagerly waiting for the much-anticipated Bring Your Pet to School Day. Many of them had heard rumors about the Earth creature that would be introduced, and whispers of nervous curiosity echoed throughout the room. Claire stood near the entrance, feeling the weight of every gaze upon her. Rex, her loyal wolf dog, sat beside her, calmly observing the alien crowd. His presence alone drew a variety of reactions. Some students kept their distance, eyeing the massive creature with clear apprehension, while others peeked around corners, too curious to look away. The hall was a colorful assembly of alien beings and their pets. On one side, a sleek aquatic creature floated in a portable water bubble, its transparent scales shimmering in the light. Next to it, a tiny feathered animal chirped from its owner's shoulder, hopping in excitement. There were creatures that glowed, creatures that levitated, and even one that seemed to phase in and out of existence as it paced in nervous energy. Yet despite the variety of species present, Rex, with his powerful frame and sharp gaze, stood out like a beacon. Professor Tyrek, the event's host, clicked his mandibles together and made his way to the front of the hall. The insectoid educator's eyes gleamed with anticipation. Welcome, students and esteemed guests, to our annual Pet Day celebration, he announced, his voice amplified across the hall. Today, we share a special bond with our companions from various worlds. Each pet here represents the unique environments of their home planets and how we, as their caretakers, have forged relationships with them. The crowd applauded politely, though many eyes remained fixed on Claire and Rex. And this year, we have a special participant from Earth, Tyrek continued, his mandibles twitching with excitement. As many of you know, Earth is classified as a death world, a place where survival is a daily challenge. It is home to some of the galaxy's most dangerous environments and creatures. Yet humanity has thrived there, forming incredible bonds with the very creatures that might otherwise threaten them. Claire took a deep breath as Tyrek gestured for her to step forward. Rex followed obediently at her side, his massive paws patting softly on the floor as the two approached the center of the hall. Gasps echoed through the room. Some students shifted uneasily, while others leaned forward in fascination. The tension was palpable. Everyone, this is Claire, a student from Earth, Tyrek said, his voice filled with enthusiasm. And this is her companion, Rex. The murmurs grew louder, with several students speaking in hushed tones. That thing's from Earth. Someone whispered. It looks like it could tear us apart. Is it dangerous? Another asked, eyes wide. Tyrek raised a hand, calming the crowd. Claire has assured me that Rex is quite tame and poses no threat to anyone here today. Claire smiled, though she could still feel the unease in the room. Rex is a wolf dog, she began, her voice steady. On Earth, humans have lived alongside animals for thousands of years. We've learned how to coexist with even the most dangerous creatures. Rex here may look intimidating, but he's loyal and friendly to those he trusts. The students remained wary, their eyes never leaving the imposing creature. Rex, sensing the tension, let out a soft whine and wagged his tail slowly, trying to ease the atmosphere. Tyrek leaned in to observe Rex more closely. Fascinating, he muttered, his mandibles twitching. To think that humans on such a perilous world have managed to tame a predator like this. Truly remarkable. One of the braver students, a lanky figure with 6 arms, raised one of his hands. Is it true that Earth creatures have evolved to survive in extreme conditions? I've heard stories about how everything on Earth can be dangerous. Claire nodded. Yes, Earth is a tough place. Our animals have had to adapt to some pretty harsh environments. But that doesn't mean they can't form bonds with us. Rex is proof of that. Another student, a small furry creature from the planet Ur, hopped forward. Can I pet him? She asked nervously, her wide eyes filled with curiosity. Claire smiled warmly. Of course. Rex loves attention. The Ur student approached cautiously, her fur standing on end as she reached out a tiny paw. Rex sniffed the air, and then gently lowered his head, allowing the student to pet his soft fur. The room let out a collective sigh of relief as they saw how docile the wolf dog truly was. Soon, more students gathered around, eager to meet Rex up close. Their initial fear had slowly turned into fascination. Claire answered question after question, explaining how humans had learned to build relationships with their planet's wildlife, even the most dangerous animals. As the day went on, it became clear that Claire and Rex had made an impression on the Galactic School. What had started as fear of the unknown was slowly replaced with admiration for the bond between human and animal. The other students, with their delicate or engineered pets, began to see the value in the Earth creature's resilience and strength. By the end of the event, Claire stood with Rex by her side, surrounded by new friends. The Galactic students now saw humans in a new light, not just as survivors of a dangerous world, but as beings capable of forming incredible connections with even the fiercest creatures. Reactions across the galaxy. News of the Galactic School's Bring Your Pet to School Day spread quickly across the galaxy. The highlight of the event, the Deathworlder student from Earth, Claire, and her fearsome-looking, yet gentle wolf dog, Rex. Images of the event flooded the communication networks, and soon, discussions about Earth and its creatures dominated alien forums and news channels. In the heart of the Galactic Council, a heated conversation unfolded. The council members, representing species from all corners of the galaxy, watched the event's broadcast with mixed reactions. We've always known Earth was dangerous, hissed Farn, a council member from the cold and calculating Recta species. His translucent scales shimmered in the dim light of the council chamber. But to see that humans have tamed predators like this, it's unsettling. The room filled with murmurs of agreement. Many council members shared Farn's unease. For centuries, Earth had been classified as a death world, a planet so hostile and dangerous that it was considered a miracle any intelligent life could evolve there. The idea that humans not only survived but thrived alongside such creatures disturbed many. Unsettling, perhaps, countered Ilari, a member of the Thalian species, known for their intellectual prowess and peaceful ways, but also remarkable. It's a testament to the adaptability of the human race. They've learned to coexist with nature, even in its most dangerous forms. The council members turned their attention to the screens displaying Rex, calmly sitting beside Claire as alien students gathered around him, petting his fur and asking questions. It was clear from the footage that the initial fear of the Earth creature had been replaced with curiosity and awe. Look at the students, Ilari continued, pointing to the screen. They were terrified at first, but now they see the value in human relationships with their planet's creatures. If humans can bond with predators like this, what does it say about their potential as allies? A silence fell over the chamber as the council members considered Ilari's words. On the other side of the galaxy, in the Krixar Empire, things were less calm. The Krixar, a warrior species known for their brutal tactics and disdain for Earth's status as a death world, were not pleased with the attention humans were receiving. General Tarak, leader of the Krixar military, slammed his fist on the command table, sending a tremor through the room. This is absurd. Earth is a planet of beasts, and now the galaxy is treating them like heroes for taming one of their own monsters. The Krixar officers around him nodded in agreement. For years, the Krixar had prided themselves on their combat prowess and their dominance over weaker species, but seeing Earth, a death world, gain recognition for something as simple as bringing a pet to school enraged them. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the reaction was far more celebratory. Claire's family and friends watched the footage with pride. Earth's media outlets praised her bravery and Rex's calm demeanor. People were fascinated by the way other species had reacted to the wolf dog, and discussions about Earth's unique fauna were trending across social networks. "This is exactly what we needed," said Dr. Keller, an ecologist and one of Earth's leading experts on intergalactic diplomacy. She had been monitoring the reactions from across the galaxy. For so long, the galaxy has feared Earth, but now they're starting to see us in a different light. Claire and Rex have shown that we're not just survivors. We're capable of forming deep connections with our world and everything in it. Earth's governments, always wary of how their planet was perceived by the Galactic Council, were also paying close attention. Some politicians saw the event as an opportunity to strengthen diplomatic ties with other species. If humans could show the galaxy that they weren't just dangerous, but adaptable and capable of peace, it could open doors to new alliances. But not everyone was optimistic. In the shadows, groups that distrusted aliens were growing louder. They feared that Earth's increased visibility in the galaxy would attract unwanted attention, perhaps even aggression from species like the Krixar. One such group, calling themselves Earth First, released a statement denouncing the event. "We refuse to be paraded around as entertainment for alien species," their leader proclaimed in a fiery speech. "Humans should be focused on protecting our planet, not showing off our creatures to those who see us as nothing more than Deathworlders." Claire, unaware of the growing tension back on Earth, continued her day of the Galactic School, oblivious to the fact that she had just ignited a galaxy-wide debate about humanity's place in the universe. To her, the day had been a success. Rex had won over the students, and for the first time, she felt like Earth had something valuable to offer the galaxy. Little did she know, the true impact of her participation in Bring Your Pet to School Day was only beginning to unfold. Across the galaxy, species were rethinking their views on humans. Some saw potential, others saw danger, and a few, like the Krixar, were plotting their next moves. As Claire and Rex returned to their quarters that evening, exhausted but happy, they had no idea that their simple act of bringing a pet to school would soon have far-reaching consequences, both for Earth and the entire galaxy. The Krixar plot. While the Galactic School buzzed with excitement over Claire and Rex's successful day, not everyone was pleased with the event's outcome. On the far edge of the galaxy, in the heart of the Krixar Empire, tension simmered. General Tarak sat at the head of the War Council, his sharp eyes fixed on the holographic images of Claire and Rex from the Galactic School event. The footage showed aliens, even those from traditionally timid species, crowding around Rex, petting the massive wolf dog, and laughing with Claire. To Tarak, it was nothing short of an insult to Krixar pride. "How have we allowed this to happen?" he snarled, his fangs bared in frustration. "A Deathworlder and her pet beast are being hailed as heroes while we, the greatest warriors in the galaxy, are treated like irrelevant relics." Around the table, his fellow Krixar officers sat in silence, unwilling to meet his gaze. They all knew the truth. The galaxy's fascination with Earth and its dangerous creatures was growing, and the Krixar were losing their reputation as the fiercest beings in the known universe. Tarak's rage was not just personal. It was a matter of pride for the entire Crixer species. One of the younger officers, Captain Rull, finally spoke up. "General, perhaps we can use this to our advantage. If the galaxy is becoming distracted by humans and their pets, we could exploit that. Their guard is down. They think humans are harmless." Tarak's eyes narrowed as he considered Rull's words. "Go on." Rull stood, activating a new holographic display that showed Earth, zooming in on its major cities and key defenses. "We've always viewed Earth as a dangerous planet, yes, but the humans themselves are still vulnerable. Their technological advancements are impressive, but their overconfidence in their so-called adaptability could be their downfall." Tarak leaned forward, intrigued. "What are you suggesting?" "We launch a strike," Rull said simply. "While they're basking in their newfound fame, we hit them hard. Remind the galaxy that humans, no matter how clever they think they are still Deathworlders. Dangerous, unpredictable, and incapable of maintaining real control." The other officers murmured in agreement. It was a bold plan, but boldness was what the Crixar thrived on. Their entire society was built on strength, conquest, and the belief that only the strongest had the right to lead the galaxy. Tarak stood, his towering frame casting a shadow over the war table. "Very well. We will remind the galaxy who the real warriors are. Prepare our fleet. Earth has enjoyed the spotlight long enough. It's time they remember their place." As the Crixar War Council began preparing for the invasion, news of their plot remained hidden from the rest of the galaxy. But even as they moved in secret, whispers of unrest began to circulate. Some of the Crixar's allies had their doubts about such an aggressive move. After all, Earth was now under the watchful eye of the Galactic Council, and any attack on the humans could lead to an interstellar conflict on a scale never before seen. Back on Earth, life continued as usual. Claire had returned home, oblivious to the brewing storm. She had no idea that her innocent participation in Bring Your Pet to School Day had sparked envy and rage among the Crixar. As she walked Rex through the park, enjoying the peace of her home planet, she could never have imagined that her world would soon be at the center of a violent clash between species. In the Galactic School, the other students remained fascinated by Earth's unique wildlife. Aliens of all shapes and sizes now sought out Claire to ask her more about Earth's dangerous creatures, wanting to know how humans had managed to tame such fearsome animals. Claire, always happy to talk about Rex and her home planet, had no idea that her words were being monitored by the Crixar. The Crixar weren't just planning a military strike. They were gathering intelligence, learning everything they could about Earth's defenses, its vulnerabilities, and most importantly, its people. To them, the more they understood about human psychology, the better they could break it. But as the Crixar fleet quietly began to assemble, other powers in the galaxy were also watching. The Thalians, peaceful yet highly advanced, had long viewed the Crixar with suspicion. Their leader, Ilari, had noticed the sudden spike in Crixar military activity and had started to piece together their plans. "They're going after Earth," Ilari said quietly to his closest advisors. "They see the attention the humans are getting, and they can't stand it. They'll strike soon, and when they do, the entire galaxy will be dragged into the conflict." Ilari's advisors nodded grimly. The Thalians had no love for war, but they knew that if the Crixar attacked Earth, they would be forced to intervene. Despite their peaceful nature, they could not allow the balance of power in the galaxy to be shattered by an unprovoked assault. "We must warn Earth," one of the advisors said urgently. "They don't know what's coming." Ilari shook his head. "Not yet. If we warn them now, the Crixar will know we're onto them, and they'll accelerate their plans. We need to gather more information. When the time is right, we'll step in." And so, as Earth unknowingly moved closer to the brink of war, the Crixar plotted, the Thalians watched, and the rest of the galaxy waited in uneasy silence. The stage was set for a conflict that would determine the fate of humanity, and the balance of power in the entire universe, the calm before the storm. Back on Earth, Claire was enjoying her return to normal life. After her incredible experience at the Galactic School with Rex, things had settled down. The event had been a huge success, and her fellow students had been fascinated by her stories about Earth and its dangerous creatures. Messages from new alien friends poured in, asking more about Earth's wildlife, cultures, and technology. However, the weight of her sudden popularity hadn't hit her yet. For Claire, it was just a fun experience. She had no idea that her actions had set off a chain of events that would soon endanger her planet. Far above, in the dark reaches of space, the Crixer fleet quietly assembled. General Tarak's orders were clear: strike at Earth, cripple its defenses, and remind the galaxy that the Crixar were not to be underestimated. The Crixar, warriors by nature, were eager for battle, especially after feeling overshadowed by the attention Earth had received. In the vastness of space, hidden from Earth's sensors, the Crixer fleet moved with precision. Their massive warships, brimming with advanced weaponry, glided through the void, preparing for the assault. General Tarak stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching Earth through the ship's viewports. To him, it looked like an insignificant blue dot in the distance, one that would soon burn under Crixer firepower. "We will strike when they least expect it," Tarak said to his officers. "Earth's defenses are formidable, but they rely too much on technology. We've studied their weaknesses. They've never faced a true warrior race." Meanwhile, on Earth, the leaders of the planet's military forces were unaware of the impending danger. The Galactic Council had not issued any warnings, and Earth was operating under the assumption that peace still reigned in the galaxy. Claire, like the rest of the planet, continued her daily routine, blissfully unaware of the storm gathering above. But in the heart of the Galactic Council, whispers of unease spread. Not everyone was blind to the Crixer's movements. Ilari, the leader of the Thalians, continued to monitor the situation closely. His spies had gathered enough information to confirm the Crixer's intentions. He knew that the attack on Earth was imminent, and the Thalians, despite their peaceful nature, could not stand by and watch. "We can't wait any longer," Ilari said to his advisors. "If we don't act now, the Crixer will strike, and Earth won't be prepared. We must warn them." One of the advisors, a calm and analytical Thalian named Ceres, spoke up. "But if we warn Earth, we risk exposing our intelligence operations. The Crixar will know we've been watching them. It could escalate the situation." Ilari frowned, torn between his desire to protect Earth and the political risks involved. "We can't let the Crixar wipe out an innocent planet just because they're jealous of the attention Earth has received. Prepare a message for Earth's leadership, warn them, and offer our support if the Crixer attack." As the scramble to send a warning, Claire was about to find herself pulled into the heart of the unfolding conflict. Unbeknownst to her, the Galactic Council had decided to assign a liaison to Earth, someone who could bridge the gap between humans and the rest of the galaxy, and perhaps prevent the Crixer attack from becoming an all-out war. The Galactic Council had been impressed by Claire's handling of the Bring Your Pet to School Day event, and they believed that someone with her experience and connection to the alien community could play a vital role in maintaining peace. Claire, however, had no idea that the Council even knew who she was. As she walked through the park with Rex, enjoying the crisp air and the serenity of nature, a small, sleek ship descended from the sky. Its landing was so quiet that Claire didn't notice until it had already touched down in front of her. The ship's doors slid open, revealing a tall, slender figure with shimmering metallic skin, a representative of the Galactic Council. "Claire Thompson?" the alien asked, its voice smooth and calming. Claire blinked in surprise. Yes, that's me. Can I help you?" The alien nodded. "My name is, and I am a representative of the Galactic Council. We need your help, Claire. Earth is in grave danger, and you may be the only one who can prevent a disaster." Stunned, Claire didn't know what to say. What are you talking about?" Aelith explained the situation, outlining the Crixer's plans and the delicate balance of power that was about to be shattered. The more Claire listened, the more her shock turned to determination. She had always known that humanity's place in the galaxy was tenuous, but she had never imagined she would be at the center of such a critical moment. "What do you need me to do?" Claire asked, her mind racing. Smiled faintly. "You've already shown that humans can handle themselves in the galactic arena. You've earned the respect of the Galactic Council, and now we need you to represent Earth. We'll help you prepare for the Crixer's attack, but you must be the voice of reason. If we can show the Crixer that Earth is not to be underestimated, we may be able to avoid all-out war." Claire took a deep breath. This was more responsibility than she had ever imagined, but she knew that she couldn't back down. The fate of Earth, and possibly the entire galaxy, rested on her shoulders. "I'm in," she said firmly. "Let's stop this before it's too late." As the fleet drew closer and prepared to intervene, Claire knew that the real battle was just the battle for Earth's survival. Claire stood aboard the Thalian flagship, looking down at Earth from the massive windows of the bridge. The serene blue planet below seemed so peaceful, yet she knew what was coming. Beside her, Elith and the Thalian crew were busy preparing for the imminent arrival of the Crixer fleet. Earth had received the warning just in time, but now came the hard part: defending it. Elith turned to Claire, his calm demeanor betraying the urgency of the situation. "The Crixer are moments away from arriving in Earth's orbit. Our fleet is small, but with Earth's defenses, we may have a chance." Claire nodded, her heart pounding. "What about Earth's military? Have they been able to mobilize in time?" "They're ready," Elith reassured her. "But this will be a battle unlike any they fought before. The Crixer are relentless. This won't just be about strength, it'll be about strategy." Down on Earth, humanity was bracing for the attack. The world's nations had put aside their differences, uniting to defend their planet. Fighter jets and orbital defense platforms were on high alert, and the recently established human space fleet had taken position around Earth. The whole world waited with bated breath, knowing that the fate of their planet rested on this one confrontation. Suddenly, the bridge lights dimmed, and alarms began to blare. The Crixer fleet had arrived. Claire's breath caught in her throat as the view screen showed the enemy ships materializing out of hyperspace. Hundreds of them, sleek and menacing, each bristling with advanced weaponry. "They're here," said grimly. "It's time." The fleet moved into position, flanking Earth's defenses. Despite their smaller numbers, they had advanced technology that could even the odds. The combined human and forces prepared for the inevitable clash, while the ships moved into an attack formation, ready to strike. Claire watched in silence as the first shots were fired. Earth's orbital defenses lit up, unleashing powerful energy blasts toward the Crixer ships. Explosions erupted in the distance as the battle began in earnest, the darkness of space illuminated by the deadly exchange of firepower. Despite the initial success of Earth's defenses, it quickly became clear that the Crixer were relentless. Their ships absorbed damage that would have crippled any human vessel, and they retaliated with devastating force. Earth's defenses were holding, but just barely. "They're too strong," one of the Thalian officers exclaimed as a Crixer ship broke through the defense line, targeting Earth's surface. Claire felt a surge of panic. "We need to stop them before they hit the planet." Elith nodded, already issuing commands. "Divert our forces to intercept that ship. We can't let it reach Earth." The Thalian ships responded swiftly, cutting off the Crixer vessel before it could unleash its full firepower on Earth. But the battle was far from over. More Crixer ships poured into the fray, overwhelming Earth's defenses. It was clear that brute force alone wouldn't be enough to win this fight. Claire, watching the chaos unfold, suddenly had an idea. "Elith, what if we use Earth's terrain to our advantage? The Crixer aren't familiar with our planet's geography. We can lead them into traps." Elith raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What do you suggest?" "We lure them closer to the surface. Into Earth's atmosphere, Claire explained. Our ships may not be as strong, but we know our planet. If we force them to fight on our terms, we might be able to turn the tide. Elith considered her plan for a moment, then nodded. It's risky, but it could work. I'll coordinate with Earth's military to set up the traps. As the plan was put into motion, the battle shifted. Human and Thalian ships began retreating toward Earth's upper atmosphere, drawing the Krixar ships in closer. The Krixar, sensing a chance to break through the defenses, pursued aggressively, unaware that they were flying into a trap. Once the Krixar ships entered the atmosphere, Earth's military launched a surprise counterattack. Anti-aircraft systems, hidden in mountain ranges and deep valleys, unleashed a barrage of missiles and energy blasts. The Krixar ships, unprepared for the sudden assault from the ground, were caught off guard. Explosions rocked the skies as Krixar vessels were hit from all sides. The terrain that had seemed so insignificant from space now became their enemy. Mountains and canyons funneled their ships into tight spaces, where they became easy targets for Earth's defenses. "We're doing it," Claire whispered, watching as the tide of battle began to turn. The Krixar ships were faltering, their numbers dwindling as Earth's forces closed in. But the Krixar were far from defeated. General Tarak, furious at the unexpected resistance, ordered his remaining forces to regroup for a final, all-out assault. He would not allow Earth to humiliate the Krixar. "We must push harder," Tarak growled. "No more games. Destroy them all." The Krixar fleet regrouped and launched a massive offensive, focusing all their firepower on Earth's last line of defense. The ground shook as the atmosphere lit up with explosions. It seemed like the Krixar might overwhelm the defenders in their final push. Aelith's voice was calm, though determined. "We still have one chance. We've been saving our most powerful weapon, the planet's own magnetic field." Aelith nodded. "It's a risky maneuver, but if we can channel enough energy from Earth's magnetic field, we can disrupt the Krixar ship's systems." As Earth's forces held the line, the Thalians activated their secret weapon. Energy surged from the planet's core, crackling through the atmosphere. The Krixar ships, suddenly bombarded with electromagnetic interference, began to falter. Systems failed, engines sputtered, and weapons went offline. In a matter of moments, the Krixar fleet was crippled. Earth's defenders seized the opportunity, launching a final assault that obliterated the remaining enemy ships. The skies cleared, and the battle was over. Claire let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "We did it. We actually did it." Aelith smiled. "Thanks to you, Earth is safe. For now." But Claire knew that this victory was just the beginning. The galaxy had taken notice of Earth, and humanity's place among the stars was more uncertain than ever. Still, as she looked out at her planet, she felt a sense of pride. Humanity had proven its strength, its resilience, and its ingenuity. Whatever challenges lay ahead, Claire knew that Earth was ready. For now, though, the war was over, and Earth had survived.